live stream, YouTube live stream. Well, thank you so much. First of all, I I guess I will. My name is Alex Torres, and I guess I will to watch later. And this live stream has a purpose of talking a little bit about sharing a little bit. This is something that I want to do for a long time already. Sharing a little of what I learned in my experience studying flamenco in Sevilla at Fundación Cristina Heeren. And also, I am doing this live stream as a test because this Saturday, November 22nd, 2025, there will be a flamenco workshop which is open to anybody, no fee, and it's going to be in Budapest, Hungary, at Segovia Guitar Shop. And we are gonna live stream it. We are gonna stream it as well on this channel, on YouTube channel. That's why I also would like to test, because I'm just doing this live stream with my phone. The microphone is from the phone and the camera is from the phone, so I would like to see later if it sounds good or if we need extra equipment. We are not gonna have extra equipment this time, but maybe later. Anyways, that was the introduction, and thank you for being here. Thank you for watching this. And well, let's talk a little bit about what I loved the most during that 1 year that I studied in Fundación Cristina Heeren. It was actually not 1 year in a row. I mean, altogether in one period. It was the first 2 trimesters first, and then I made a pause of 2 years. I think, yeah, 2 years, and then I did the last third trimester. The reason of this was because my girlfriend and we got pregnant with our first baby, and in that moment we decided to stop the studies and go back to working. So we went back to Budapest, where I have been living for the last 10 years or 11, since 2014. So, but altogether it was 1 year, and I really loved it, and sometimes I hated it. Not in a bad way, but it was driving me crazy, because well, I thought I knew a couple things about flamenco as a music genre, but it turns out that I didn't know that much about flamenco as I thought. Actually, I knew that already. I knew that I didn't know much about flamenco, and that's why I went to the school. But I didn't imagine that I knew so little about flamenco, and I still feel like that. I still feel like I know very little. Probably that happens every time you know more and more about something, no? That when you learn more, you feel that you know that there's so much more than that you still don't know. But to explain this better, I would say that I was very in love, and I am still in love with flamenco guitar. But that's not the same that flamenco itself. And for me, this was a crazy realization. It was like crushing against a wall, because flamenco is not very much, not mainly about guitar, but it's more about, I don't know, if I have to say it in a simple way, flamenco is more about cante. It's more about singing. And those guitarists that I admire so much, like Paco de Lucia, like Vicente Amigo, Tomatito, Moradito, everybody, Antonio Rey, I mean, Diego del Morado, everybody that, every flamenco guitarist that I admire very much, knows flamenco from inside, from the essence, and this essence is not centered in around the guitar. It's not in the center of the essence of flamenco. There's no a guitar mainly, and there is not even dance. So when we don't know about it, because me and many other people that learn and love flamenco music, most of the people, most of people like us, we haven't been born in Andalusia and in Spain, so we learn flamenco from in a very touristic way. So uh, we don't realize that it's not about, I mean, the dance is not the main instrument, because the dance is very like eye candy, no? We don't realize that it's not about the guitar, because the guitar is also very eye candy. But flamenco is about the I think the most difficult part, which is cante, and it's very difficult and it's very strange, because every time I wanna study cante and I wanna learn the melodies, it is so difficult for me. I don't know if for every singer it is difficult, but it is so difficult. It's like, I don't know, like one of those foods that you either love it or hate it. No, for example, I don't know, maybe ceviche from Peru. Some people love it, some people hate it, or any there are these kind of things that are very strong. The flavor is very strong, and you either love it or hate it. And I would say that flamenco cante is like that, because it's maybe sometimes it's so difficult to listen to if you are if you're new to it, if you don't know what are if you don't have anybody who explains you the characteristics of it, uh, the what is happening when you listen. uh, you like, it's very easy to lose interest in flamenco cante. But when you hear flamenco guitar, when you see somebody dancing flamenco, it's so much easier to watch, and that's what had happened to me. I was in love with flamenco guitar, flamenco guitarists, and flamenco dance. I loved to play in flamenco formations, accompanying alegrías, soleá por bulerías, tientos, etc. And I thought I was doing well, because I could follow the compass, I could follow the rhythm, and I could play the chords, and that's it, no? But I didn't investigate about the most important part of flamenco, which is the cante. For example, if I was before before the Fundación, if I was asked about what is alegrías, I would play this, no? 7, 8, 9, and I was only worried about this. And I was worried about the intensity, because I was like, flamenco has to be intense. But I didn't realize that flamenco can also be very smooth and very soft. And for me, there was just one melody for alegría, which is tiriti ta tan tam, tiriti tan 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 tan, tiriti ta tan pero ay, tiriti ta la la. And then the lyrics something like this, no? Ay, qué desgraciadito fuiste, ay, barrio de Santa María, ay, qué desgraciadito fuiste, barrio con tanta gracia, ay, qué de bola tú recibiste, etcétera, 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 etcétera. But for that was the only melody that I heard from Alegrías in a long time, many years, playing a lot of times performances with a formation, with a dancer, with a singer, and I was the guitarist. And I didn't know that there are many other melodies of Alegrías, no? And not only Alegrías, but cantiñas, which is like the broader palo, okay? Even now, I cannot sing them by memory. But for example, I mean, some of them come to my memory. Like if we are in this key, barquito de vapor, la 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 la. Hay barquito de vapor. That's another melody that I didn't know that it exists. And the problem is that when you are playing flamenco in Andalusia, or when you're playing with people that knows more el cante, they know these lyrics and they will not tell you that, hey, do you know this song? I will sing it. When you're playing, the singer will just sing. And most of the time, or sometimes, no, they will not say that, okay, let's rehearse for 3 weeks and then we will sing together. Many times it just happens that they arrive and they sing. And if you don't know the lyrics, if you have never listened to it or learned the chords, the melody, you don't know. I mean, anything can happen. They will do the melody with a little variation, and you will lose yourself. You will not know where you are. That's why it is so important to learn the cante. And alegrías, cantiñas is a very I don't know, like happy, bright sounding palo inside flamenco, but so therefore not so difficult to listen to. But there are other palos which are so difficult to listen to, like seguirillas, no? Like for me, when the teachers in Fundación they told me go to the library of seguirillas, which is called Fonoteca de Seguirillas, and listen to these recordings that you find there. They are recordings from 100 years ago or more, and they sound so, the quality is so low, you can barely understand the lyrics. You don't hear the guitar, you just hear people yelling like, so yeah, I I figured out that to listen to this is very necessary. Not, and if you really wanna be a great flamenco guitarist, it's very necessary. Not it's not enough to listen to them, because you need to fall in love with it. So you need to fall in love with these recordings from 100 years ago, with a much lower quality of recording, and somebody, you cannot hear the guitar, you can only hear yellings over there. No, you cannot even understand the lyrics. So that is the most, like, I think the part that changed the most inside of me after studying in Fundación Cristina Heeren. And yes, that was number one. Number two, it was so good to meet people with the same interest and so talented, no, and in guitar, in singing, and in dancing. One of my masters of guitar was Pedro Sierra. I spent the most time attending his lessons, and it was unbelievable, like, for me to see somebody playing with so much detail and so much technique and so much knowledge of flamenco. It was so inspiring to see him. And also my classmates, like, they are so much younger than me, and they were all of them so good, like, so technically great, musically, and with so much knowledge about flamenco, that I was so happy to be surrounded by them. And at the same time, sorry, sometimes very frustrated to be surrounded by people who know so much, because I felt that all of my years and decades of playing the guitar was for nothing, because I was like, how do I learn flamenco for tomorrow, because they are so good, and I know that I'm a good guitarist, or I think that I am, but it's so difficult to follow. Anyways, well, so yeah, another thing that made a big impact on me was the sound of the guitar, like how the guitar sounds in somebody's hand. Is not the same for a flamenco musician than for a classical guitarist, and for a jazz guitarist, or Latin guitarist, folk, whatever. So the flamenco guitar, it's not only about the instrument, but also about the hand of who is playing. And this caused a big impact in me. Like one day, my friend Carlos Mejias, he told me that you are playing in a way that I can tell that you are not Spanish. And this was very very crazy for me. From that day, I tried to I started to practice in a way that I I was determined to change this. I wanted that if I play flamenco, I sound like a flamenco guitarist, not like a tourist. Okay, and I will show you the difference. I will try. So this is for me. This is flamenco sound. No. Okay. And this, for me, this is like not flamenco sounding. It's also flamenco sounding, but it's a little more dirty, you know. So I don't. It's difficult for me because I try to explain it in now, but obviously we are not in the situation in which we were when I heard it first. So instead of trying to explain, I would like to share what exercise or in what way of practicing helped me to achieve a better sound. So I would like to do that. So I started to practice every day, like 1 or 2 hours, only technical exercises, and there were a lot of them, and given by Pedro Sierra in the school. So I'm gonna start showing some of them. Okay, the first exercise that we're practicing was arpeggios, and we did a sequence of 11 chords 2 times, so 22 chords, and it's a very logical sequence of fifths, okay, and or fourths, the same. So the sequence is this: E major, A minor, A7, which is diminished chord, D minor, G7, C major, E7 or F diminished, A minor. From there, Andalusian cadencia, G, F, and E. That was the end of the 11 chords. After that, again, the same 11 chords, but in a different key. We modulate to, instead of A minor, we modulate to E minor, sorry. And we are here. B7th, E minor, E7th, or E7th, A minor, D7th, G major, B7 or C diminished, E minor. From there, Andalusian cadencia, D, C, and B, and that's it. Okay, but we can repeat the whole thing again. So this whole thing we repeated. So back to A minor, second round, E7th, A minor. I change positions. A7th or A sharp diminished, D minor. G7th, C major. E or F diminished, A minor. G7th, Andalusian cadencia, F7th, and E. Okay, modulation. B7th, E minor. We are in E minor. E7, A minor. D7, G major, C diminished, and from there Andalusian cadencia. E, C, D, C, and then B7, and that was the end. Okay, now I don't know, like I would like to take 5 or 6 more minutes to practice this, and I will show the before, like after warming up a little, like moving my hands like this, what is the first thing that I do when I practice my practice routine. Okay, I practice the chords positions. Look, I do this. I saw that Vicente Amigo, one of my favorite guitarists, he uses a lot of this thing. So in order to strengthen my left hand, I did this sequence of 22 chords, but in this way, look. 1, 2, 3, A. The same chords, but using the hammering for the full chord. That way, I can focus only on the left hand. The right hand is not doing much. It's doing up and in the middle, and then up and down, no? But in the middle, I do this, no? So the beat goes like this. But I add this. And like that, I work on the left hand. E7, A minor, D7, G, C diminished, E7, E minor, D, or D7 if you want, Andalusian cadencia, B7, second round, E to A minor, A7, D minor, G7. It can be slower. Look, slower. I am in C now. E major, E7th, or F diminished. A minor, Andalusian cadencia, F, F7, E7. Modulation, B, E minor, E7, A minor, D7, G major, C diminished, E minor, D7, C7, and B. That was 2 times 22, so 44 chords. And that was one of the key that I learned from Pedro Sierra at Fundación, that the exercises should be long, like as long as a song, no? 3 minutes, 5 minutes, not try not to make it 1 minute and that's it, no? Now after that, what I do is I practice arpeggio with a tempo of 127, but very slow. I mix the arpeggio and the hammering. Look, instead of I do. Okay, I will put the metronome and show you. And I think with this, I will finish this live stream, because it's gonna be time to go. my friend is gonna arrive to the studio. So, so it goes like this, and I will apply this. Let's go. F, E, modulation, B, E minor, E7, A minor, D7, G major, C diminished, E minor, D7, C, B, second round, if you get tired, you can stop. I'm getting tired now, but I don't want to stop. D minor, G7, C major, E or F diminished, A minor, C, G7, F7, E, B7, E minor, E7, A minor, D7, G, C diminished, E minor, D7, Andalusian cadencia, C and B, and that's the exercise. So that was like a very, very intense warm-up for this hand. So as I said, like, don't try it too fast, if you know. I mean, when I was starting with this, I realized that my left hand was not very precise and quick. So I was doing this, but at a much slower tempo, like this. Okay, and sometimes when I feel that I don't want to do it too fast because it's not precise, I slow down a lot. Okay. Very important when you practice it. It's good sometimes to practice fast, but sometimes it's good to get the feeling, no? But sometimes it's good to practice clear, and for that you have to go slower sometimes, no? Okay, now after that, what I do is, if my friend is not coming, I maintain the 127 tempo, but I put 16ths. So the metronome will give me 16th notes. So like this, taka 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 taka, and then I do this. No, it will be no. 1, 2, 3, 1. Minor, G7, D7, E, sorry, F, E, B7 modulation, E minor, E7, A minor, D7, G7, G minor, G major, C diminished, E minor, D7, C7, B7. Second round, A minor, A7, D minor, G7, C major, E7, A minor, G7, sorry for the mistakes, F, E, B7, E7, A minor, D7, G major, B7, E minor, D7, Andaluz cadencia, C7, B7, and then a scale. So that's that scale, and the sequence of chords with the arpeggio was something that I learned with Pedro Sierra at Fundación Cristina Heeren. However, I have given the exercise a little bit of my touch, because some variations, these variations of one chord are given by, I mean, are a result of my own like creativity. You know, I was like, how can I make the exercise more complex so that I practice and I gain more skill, no? Okay, and after that, I already did this sequence like 3 times. First without arpeggio, just left hand, then slowly with arpeggio and using a lot of hammering, and the third time I did it like normally, the arpeggio, but faster. And now from 127, if my friend doesn't arrive to studio, I will go up to my top speed right at the moment for this exercise, which is 171. And then I will put it like this, no? And 1, 2, 3, 1. The same sequence, but now faster. So, okay, let's say 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, round. E, A minor, A7, B minor, G7, C major, E7, A minor, Andaluz cadencia, F, E, modulation, E7, B7, C diminished, D major, that was it. Wow, it's so much more difficult to do it with a camera in front of you and knowing that people are watching. But after practicing so much on my own, I am very happy to open this practice and show it to you guys. And that's because I realized that I kind of need an output to all of the input I am getting, or I am giving myself with my practice. I try to improve, but I think like it has to be like a river. So something the knowledge that I gain is like my input, and I need an output, so I need to share it. I think that's beneficial not only for people who receive this from me, but also for myself. Thank you so much for watching this, and I would like to announce that this Saturday I will do so in a couple days, Saturday, November 22nd, 2025, at 2 p.m. I will be live streaming again, because we are going to do a flamenco workshop in Budapest. So if you're in Budapest, you can attend in person. It's gonna be at Segovia Guitar Shop from 2 to 4 this Saturday, and it's gonna be live streamed as well. I hope the sound will be good, and the video as well. This was a test for it, and I will be sharing things like this, like my practice routine, and I will be happy to interact with the people who come, because of course they will have their own questions, and we will all help to make the whole thing more rich, with the knowledge of all of us. So yes, and of course, if you would like private lessons about flamenco guitar or flamenco in general, I am very happy also to give them. Just give me a comment, or write me to a private message to my Instagram. It's Alex Torres Peru, like my country, or you can, I'm sure we can find the way to connect. So thank you so much, and see you next time, which is in a couple days. Bye bye.